Pick the Shoshanim. And he found the beautiful Shoshana. Refoel, what a beautiful Shoshana. What a Kiddush Hashem he made in his lifetime. What a nachas he was to the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To see, with all the Yisurim that he had, and his parents standing at his side with his family, coming into the yeshiva with a big smile, going over to his father, and be ready to go to the yeshiva to learn. What a Shoshana. What a Kiddush Hashem he brought into this world, together with his family, his whole lifetime, in the hospital, up to the last moment of his life, which we heard. The Tsar is great. The Gila, Kedaisha Montreal suffered a tremendous loss and tremendous sorrow to the family. The Mishpachas Goldberg, the Baruch Hashem should give them the kaichos to continue to raise their beautiful, beautiful family, their Einachlach. Refoel, you're going to come to Kisei HaKoved. Dr. Medrash in Kisisa. Moshe l'mohadora daime. The Melech shesachar pa'alin l'mlachtoi. And Melech went and hired workers to do work for him in his garden, in his home. Natal HaMelech echad. The king took one of echad behem u'mitayel imoy. The king takes one of these workers And he was metayel imoy. He started marching with him through the garden. Erev, when it came to the time to pay, Bo ha'paolim liton schoron. The paolim came to get their wages. Bo oise poel. This poel is also worker shetiel imam melech that was marching and parading together with the king. Liton schoroi. So the king tells him, you didn't do, you only worked for an hour or two, then I took you and went for a walk. You don't get the same schar. So the Medrash, Afu Yochel Omer LaMelech, Ulai Ato, Shibiltani, you are the one that caused me the batol. V'tiyalti imoch, and I went for a walk with you. You took me away. Had you not taken me away, I would have worked just as much as the rest of them. I want my full schar. He took the Shoshana, a young child of 9 years old, who had a lifetime ahead of him. And Refoel was going to come up to the Kisei HaKoved, and he said, Ribono Shel Olam, you put me down to this world. I was here for 9 years to Kaddish Shemayim. Had you kept me here for the rest of the time of my life, I would have been fulfilled my tachlis and been Kaddish Shemayim. And now that you took me away in such a long age, I want my full schar. And he has a taina. And Refoel come to the Kisei HaKoved, Refoel. And bet for Ribono Shel Olam, I was ready to serve you. I was ready to be Kaddish Shemayim. You took me away. I'm a melech. Better dirachamim. I still want to be Kaddish Shemayim. I want to be mispalel for my family. I want to be mispalel for my tzibur. I want to be mispalel for my friends. I want to be mispalel for Klal Yisrael. Because just like where you were in your lifetime, Ayingale Molei Chein. Molei Ava walked in with a smile. Simchas Achayim, und jetzt hat der Eibishter zugenommen, Doide Yor Leganoi. Memele, beten wir dir Refoel. First of all, Chas V'Sholom, maybe we weren't now covered. So to the Meichel sein. Chas V'Sholom, nobody meant to do anything. But we're also asking Refoel, with your Chain and with your Ava, continue to be Melech Tzosher for all of us. Continue to go to the Kisei HaKoved and ask for Rachamim, for your Mishpacha, for Klal Yisrael. We need so much Rachamim. And to the Mishpacha, I'd like to say just one short statement, Pasuk in Pinchas. Vahi achar Magefa. It was a terrible Magefa. Vayim Hashem Moshe. Su'u es rosh kol adas b'nei Yisrael. It was a Magefa. And everybody learns Pshat. The Magefa, after Chas V'Sholom, you have to count your losses and see what you're with. Aber I heard from my Reshiva Zichron Livracha hat gesagt, Vahi achar Magefa, Su is not Lashon counting. Su is mean Nosoi. Elevate yourselves. Get yourself above it. The doorgang schwer tekufa. It's so met me the Refoel Shalom. You should give the klichas to the mishpacha. They should aufheben. They should be able to elevate themselves above the situation, and they should be able to elevate themselves and see that they can continue to be mashpia in their oifan, their mashpia in our tzibur in Klal Yisrael, to mashpia to their wonderful, beautiful mishpacha, that they should continue. Just like they were before, together with the Refoel, though was not here, was taken for us as during the Yor Leganoi, over pronouncing he's here, Beruach, because that same spirit that he was here, Bechayob, is still here and still been going to the Kisei HaKavod, is Memelis Seu'us Rosh Klal Das B'nai Yisrael. There's almost like aufheben. The Eivishter soll geben the koiches. We shall can aufheben. We should be elevate ourselves. And the Rebbe should give the koiches to see only Yeshua's and Nechomois. Bila Hamovus on Netzach Mocha Hashem Lekim Dima Malcolm Body B'Lemar Amen.
Ask Rabbi Yochanan Wenger.
Every morning we make a bracha, l'kai neshomesh and asatabi, and we firais moidani lefanecha Hashem l'kai v'l'kai avasai. Amoid riboin kol amasim, the master of everyone, of all the ma'asim in the world, the first animamin. Adoin kol neshomes, the adon of all the neshomes in the world. What are we saying? The Ramban in the end of Parshas Bo says, the Tachlis HaYetzirah, we have no other Havon and Hasbara in why the Vasham created the world, why he created us. Only that Noidla we should admit and announce and thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu that B'Yasecha Anachnu. L'kfaydi Barosiv, Yeshaya Navi says, the world was created l'kfaydi. This neshama that came down, a neshama tahira, without a guf kamat. All of us are involved in eating and drinking. This neshama came down to the world. He came down to the world. The doctors the first night told the parents, he's not going to live, let him go. The parents came to the Rabbanim, what do? Don't listen to the doctors. They said he can't live even a year without a transplant. Why shall change that? Every step of the way, they asked Gedolei Olam, Paiskei Ador, what do? They followed every direction exactly. A matana Gedolei, the Rebbe gave them 9 years with a child, and they fulfilled those 9 years with Kiddush Shemayim. Everyone they met, people went into the hospital. They asked, do you know the Goldbergs? They're such wonderful people. Keseda de Kiddush Shemayim. Refoel was in a shaman that was born into the world just to be Kiddush Shemayim. The amount of chesed that was done with him, because it was a geschmack to do it. He taught the city of Montreal what it means Kiddush Shemayim, but it means chesed. Riboin kol amasim, we understand the punishment of Bari Olam. That's, the parents understood. They're not in charge. They ask. They went to the G'daylim. The G'daylim told them what to do. They followed every step because the Bari Shalom is the master of everything. That Ramban, the Tachlis Abriya, they were Mekayim for 9 years straight. Not only themselves, they taught all of us. Today is Zman, we should all be Makatoiv to the family, to Refoel, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for giving us this matana. It's true, we all think, we all want. The Rebbe Hashem gave us a matana that we learned so much from. Halvai, we should be able to hold on to those limudim. If we just think, there's signs up all over the world to say Ashiyotza with Kavanah, to read it from a siddur. Perhaps we should start reading L'kai Neshama in the morning. It could change our whole day. We could think to ourselves, why can't we be like Refoel? Why can't we walk around with a smile? Why can't we be B'Seiv upon the office? Why can't we cause Kiddush Shemayim wherever we go? Why can't we act in a way that's proper for B'nai Torah? To do taka, understanding that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Adon Kol Neshamas, Riboin Kol Amasim. That I feel is the strongest message we should be taking. And to understand, there are those who ask, What happened to all the tefillas? The Rebbeinu Shalom put the tefillas where they belong, but we have to understand also, he gave us 9 years of this child. Simple medical science and medical ethics said, zero, nothing to do. The tefillas helped, gave us gewaldige, and gave us schusim. Refoel Goldberg covered and the Neshama Tahira. Say, my parents, Taka said, Neshama Shenasata, the Neshama you gave us, the Refoel that you gave us, we understood it was Atah Yetzarta, Tanafachta. We understand it's Tahira. You decided to take it back, Lachzira, to take it. You'll give it back. Refoel, ask your parent, ask the Rebbeinu Shalom, the Kisei covered, to give your parents the schuyas, the kaiches, the tzlacha, arichas yam v'shanim, to continue to see nachas from the entire family, to see nachas from all the Moshe's Talmidim, Keseder, to continue to be Marbetz Torah, to help your mother continue to be Isaac, B'Piri V'Rivya, to be Masik, to make Shidduchim, Keseder, to ask for your siblings to be able to be Zeicha, to continue to grow, to ask for your classmates, they should take the right message and they should be able to grow from this, and to ask for all of us in Montreal, we should be able to continue to learn how to be Mekadeshim Shemayim, to grow in Torah and Avodah, and Taka to ask the Rebbeinu Shalom for Gans Klal Yisrael, B'Yesh Mashiach Tzidkenu, we should hear the Shofar Gadol, and Bila Mavas L'Netzach, Amacha Hashem Elokim Dem Al Kol Panim.
Last, the Tatar of Moshe Goldberg.
Hard for me to express my thoughts at this time. So I decided that I'm going to write some letters to express my thoughts. And I'll read you the letters that I wrote. Dear Ribono Shel Olam, thank you for entrusting us with this special neshama for the past 9 years and 2 months. It was a tremendous zechus. Thank you for giving us a child. Thank you for giving us a child who would show the world what real Simchas Chaim is all about. Never complaining, much to complain about. Always with a smile. Thank you for allowing us to bring up a child who wouldn't complain no matter how hard his circumstances might be. Thank you for giving us a child who showed everyone what davening to Hashem really means. He said the day before the operation, he says, Tati, am I allowed to say Shemona Esrei sitting in my bed? I said, yes. You don't have to stand. He said, are you sure? I said, yes. Thank you for giving us a child who loved to learn. You should have seen his Islavs in the classroom. He came home. First thing he wanted to do was Chazer's Chumash, Chazer's Mishnayos, with me, without me. Just enjoyed every second of it. Thank you, Hashem, for giving us a child who brought the best out of every human being. he ever came in contact with. Thank you, Hashem, for giving us a child who touched the hearts of all those who came to know him. Thank you, Hashem, for giving us a child who united all, literally, all of Klal Yisrael together in tefillah. Thousands and thousands of tefillahs. 5,000 children in Yerushalayim Friday morning saying Tehillim on his behalf. 5,000. Thousands of kapitlach of Tehillim in your schools. Thank you, Hashem, for giving us a child who was Mekadesh Hashem Shemayim from the very, very earliest stages in his life. And thank you, Hashem, for giving us a child who literally died al Kiddush Hashem. Rabbi Wenger said, Elikai neshama shenasata bi tohirahi. Ata barasa, ata yatzarta, ata nafachta bi, v'ata mishamra b'kirbi, v'ata asad litlois mimeni. Rabbeinu Shalom put a neshama in Klal Yisrael, which was Tahira. Refoel was a Kaddish v'Tahir from the very beginning. And Hashem decided that it's time litla mimeni. L'achzir bi l'asad lavai. Kozman shaneshama b'kirbi, as long as neshama, as long as Refoel was around, Moide hani lefanecha, he was a constant source of haidah of what a Kadosh Baruch Hu is. La'einei kol ro'es. Moide hani lefanecha, Hashem Elokai v'Elokei B'sai. Riboin kol hamasim. He screamed out, Rabbanu Shalom is Riboin kol hamasim, and he screamed out, Rabbanu Shalom is Adain kol neshamas. Hashem nasan, Hashem lakach, Yehi shem, Hashem varach. Dear friends and Talmidim, thank you for the tremendous support throughout Refoel's short life. Thank you for all your tefillahs. Thank you for all of your learning b'skusai. Thank you to all the people who made such a difference in your short and meaningful life. Thank you, David and Judy, for helping and caring for Refoel as if he was your own child. Thank you, Pershi and Razi, for being there whenever we needed support. Thank you, Chai Lifeline, for making his short and sweet and meaningful life so enjoyable. Excuse me if I don't say all the names, but that includes a lot of people. Thank you, Doctors Santana, that's two doctors, his husband and wife. Thank you to all of Complex Care, Geraldine and Annie, and all the doctors in Complex Care, for caring for Refoel as if he was your own. Dear Refoel, Thank you for being the most wonderful child any parent could ever dream for. Thank you for showing us what true derech eretz means. Never raised his voice, never argued, never questioned. Whatever he was told to do, he just did. Thank you for showing us how not to take for granted whatever Hashem has given us. Thank you for showing us how one is supposed to trust in Hashem. Full trust, no questions. Thank you for being so sensitive to everybody's feelings. Just 2-3 days ago, maybe a week ago, I lost track of time, he told me, Tati, he was very disturbed. You know, kids don't mean it, but one kid decided to tell him a secret in front of another one of his friends. And he says, Tati, I didn't know what to do. I saw he was feeling bad that he was telling me, not him. I just wanted to walk away and I didn't know how to do it. He's 9 years old. He understood someone's sensitivities. Thank you for showing us how one is supposed to yearn for Mashiach. Constantly talked about what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. The amount of tefillas that were said, as we said, were not to be believed. Sarfei malat saku b'mara zu Torah zu schayra Ansa Baskol mishamayim. Baskol said, Machim came before Kodesh Baruch Hu by the Sarim Lagach said, Rebbeinu Shalom, everything they've done, Zu Torah v'Zu Schayra. Rebbeinu Shalom answered, Baskol Shemayim said, Imeshma kol echad, epach es kol ha'olam, l'tohu v'avohu. If I hear one more word, I'm going to turn the whole world back to the way it was before it started. Gzeirahinu fanai, be makabalit. Rebbeinu Shalom, Yehi Ratzayin milfanecha, Shemei kol b'chiyos. May it be the will of you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who hears and collects every tear. Shetosim d'maiseinu b'noidcha liyos. You should take every tear and every Kabbalah that everyone in Klal Yisrael made and put it in a special flask. V'satzilenu mikol gzeros achzarios. And with it, Rebbeinu Shalom, please save us from every gzera of achzarios. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have only you to look to. Refoel, please take all the tefillas with your Kiddushem Shemayim. Go before the Kisei HaKavod. Tell the Rebbeinu Shalom, Klal Yisrael is ready. We're ready for Mashiach. We're ready to do your Ratzayin. We're ready to be Makabel, all our Kabbalahs.
Ask them now, Reb Shlomo Kadosh.
The Gemara in Bracha says, and we paskin like that in Shulchan Aruch, that on a Besura row we make a bracha of Baruch Dayan Emes, acknowledging and internalizing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the true judge and all his judgments are only true. All of us, when we heard the Besura yesterday, said that bracha b'chavana. But I believe there's another bracha that's in order over here. Baruch HaMekadesh Shemoi Barabim. When we witness a Kiddush Hashem of such tremendous proportions, we make a bracha, Baruch HaMekadesh Shemoi Barabim, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sanctifies his name publicly. Refoel's life was a life of Kiddush Shem Shamayim Barabim, and Refoel's Aliyah B'Sa'ara HaShamayimah was one of Kiddush Shem Shamayim, paralleled only by the greatest and holiest of our great and holy nation. We all daven to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim. Gedolim were known to be Mispalel, that they should be able to leave this world al Kiddush Hashem through Kiddush Shem Shamayim. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who chooses and is very picky. The Medrash says, Moshe Rabbeinu told Aaron, I thought it would be me or you that would be Zoiche to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim Barabim. But I see that there were those that were even greater than us. And as the Medrash says, as Chazal say, that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to be Mekadesh his name, he is Mekadesh his name with those that are nearest and dearest to him, and those that are holiest, b'mekudashav, b'miyudav. Not that any of us had any room to doubt, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew very well who was Mekudashav, who was Miyudav, who was his nearest and dearest, and was Mekadesh Shemoi Barabim in every day ad Zibula Basraisa of his life. The Rashiva mentioned earlier the pasuk in Shir Hashirim in the Medrash of Doidi Yarad Laganoi, my beloved one has descended into his garden, Lilkoit Shoshanim, to gather roses. And the Medrash where Chazal interpret this to mean that HaKadosh Baruch Hu goes and plucks the choicest. I was thinking early this morning, anyone who's ever picked flowers knows that you only pick a flower that's in full bloom. If you pick a bud which is still closed, it's useless. It's not very pretty and it doesn't smell very well either. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is loiket shoshanim. He picks flowers at their full bloom. Most of us are late bloomers. It takes us 70, 80, 90 years, v'kulei hai v'ulai, for our flower to blossom, for our flower to reach what it was meant to look like. Refoel was a Zariz. Refoel, with the innate goodness and Kedusha that he was gifted with, was able to come to full bloom in a short 9 years. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who is the Doidi, who is the beloved one, knew that this flower had come to full bloom and was ready to be picked. I'm standing here as a representative, not of myself, but of a very close brotherhood, of the Ramei HaYeshiva. Moshe, I will speak to you and your Rebbetzin in all of our name as a representative. The Gemara debates whether Kohanim, when they do the Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash, are shluchei didan or shluchei derachmana, whether they are our messengers doing our work because the avodah ultimately is being done on the behalf of all of Klal Yisrael, or whether they're shluchei derachmana, whether they're agents of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to execute the avodah which He wanted done. Reb Moshe, you and your Rebbetzin were both shluchei didan and shluchei derachmana. A heilige neshama came down to this world 9 years and 2 months ago. A neshama that anyone, even an Eino Yehudi that saw it, realized from its very moment was hovering several tfachim above the olam hazeh of this world. Had everyone that wanted to been given an opportunity to participate in this Avodas HaMikdash, it would have been impossible. You would have had hundreds of thousands of hands reaching out to Refoel. You were the Shluchei Didan. You were the chosen ones from Klal Yisrael to do the heilige avodah of caring for such a heilige neshama. And you were also shluchei derachmana. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows very well who to trust with such a pristine, pure neshama that isn't often seen in this world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew that He could only rely on a shliach, which is an extension of Himself, an extension of His will. You were also shluchei derachmana. When the Heilige Tana Reb Meir's children were nifter, his wife, who was noted in the Gemara as a wise woman, had to decide how to break the tragic news to her husband. And she came to Reb Meir and started to speak to him about someone giving a pikadon, and now the person wants it back. Reb Meir, of course, agreed, and then slowly came to the realization that she was telling him that the pikadon that they had been given was now being summoned back to the owner. Sometimes we forget that we're balei pikadon. If a museum receives a flint arrowhead that was found in some archaeological dig, they're not sure, is it to keep, is it to display and give back? When the museum receives the crown jewels of England, they know it's only to put on display and to return to Buckingham Palace. We sometimes forget that we are all Shomrei Pikadon. That also needs to be corrected. But we feel it's ordinary, it's regular, oilam kiminhagay noyeg. But sometimes a pikadon is so glistening with diamonds, is so one of a kind in the entire world, that it's clear to everyone that this is a pikadon. It's only meant to be on loan for a short while, and it's going back to the palace where it came from. Refoel, Zichroina Levracha, was that crown jewel, was that pikadon. It would be impossible to deny that this is a neshama that comes down to the world once every several generations. This is a crown jewel. This is a neshama that even after it descended to this world, did not lose that intimate connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the point that those who knew Refoel were sometimes not sure which world he was holding on, because he was more in the Olam HaRuchni than the Olam HaGashmi. Those are the crown jewels. Ashreichem, that you were worthy of hosting the crown jewels for these years, of caring for them, of watching them, of polishing them, and of returning them to the palace where they came from. Roichev aravois sas v'sameach. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is rejoicing now. his crown jewels are being returned to the palace where they belong. In Tammuz of 1941, the Nazis had overrun the town of Telz. They rounded up the Yeshiva HaKadoshah, the inhabitants of the town, Uberoisham, the Telzer Rav, and led them to their final act of Kiddush Shem Shamayim. The Telzer Rebbetzin, wife of the Telzer Rav, turned to the Nazi who was about to execute her and her children and said, "I have one request. If you grant me this request, I'll reveal to you where we hid all of our jewelry and money." It gave him pause for a second. He says, "What's your request?" She said, "I ask of you." She had 11 children. "Please don't do anything to me until you're finished with all my children. Execute my children first." Why? Normally, one doesn't want to witness something like that. He bought into the deal, and he killed her 11 children in front of her. She then lowered herself into the pit, went and closed each one of their eyes, and took a handful of dirt and put it on them, and said, "Rebbeinu Shalom, you gave me 11 pikdonos. I am returning the pikadon back to you, be'emunah and be'kavod." Reb Moshe, you and your Rebbetzin had many opportunities to turn your back, even backed by Piskei halacha that you could have gotten had you wanted, and to say ve'al ere b'mois hayolid, decisions that you could have made to take the easy way out for yourself, to spare yourself the agony, to spare yourself the neshama-wrenching processes that you had to endure for so many years. But you followed in the footsteps of the greatest people of our nation and said, "My feelings, my emotions, my efforts are irrelevant. Rebbeinu Shalom, you gave me a pikadon, and I will sacrifice myself to return that pikadon to you in the best form that I can." Until the very last moments, the decisions that you made with Refoel's care were guided by only one thing: Das Torah, Psak Halacha, with nothing else clouding your vision. You mentioned the complex care team. I think there was another complex care team. I heard from people who were in the house the past week, inarguably during the most difficult moments that a family should never have to endure. And people walked away nishtoimim, astounded at the ahava, at the beautiful love, at the achdus that exists between all the Goldberg siblings. And the truth is, those of us who know the Goldbergs did not have to wait for the past week to see this. Every brother and sister and brother-in-law and sister-in-law and niece and nephew were Refoel's absolute favorite. That's the complex care team. This is a team that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put together to care for this beautiful neshama. I wish we could all follow such an example of what siblings are meant to be. We end off the Vidui Bikurim when we bring our choicest gift that we put so much work into. A farmer toils and toils till the tree produces a beautiful fruit, and he plucks the best one, the one that ripened first. and brings it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then he offers a short tefillah. And he says, Hashkifa mimoin kodshecha min hashamayim, uvarech es amcha Yisrael. Rebbeinu Shalom, Klal Yisrael collectively has brought their best before you over the past week. The tefillas, the kabbalas, the limud Torah, the hischazgos has been unparalleled in anyone's memory. We each brought you our bikurim. And then we gave you the choicest of bikurim. We gave you the most beautiful fruit. The one that ripened first. That reached his shleimus while we're still struggling. Rebbeinu Shalom, hashkifa mimayin kodshecha min hashamayim. We beseech you, look down at your beautiful nation. Uvarech es amcha es Yisrael. Bench Klal Yisrael. Accept the bikurim that we have offered you and shower the entire Mishpachas Goldberg, the entire Mishpachas Yeshiva Gedola, and the entire Mishpachas Klal Yisrael with all the brachas that only you hold. V'noimar Amen.
Call upon the Menal Reb Menachem Mendel Carmel.
How can one stand and attempt to say a hesped? Someone whose parting tzavah was Kedoshim Tihu. Kaddish atzmecha b'mutar lach. Someone whose smile and personality fooled us into thinking he was one of us. But under that facade, we knew he wasn't one of us. A malach that came to share with us a few moments of contact with the Olam HaRuchni. It was always so to spoil. A boy in a class sitting through siyumim and birthday parties and Nash. One would think as an outsider, looking at all his friends enjoying, indulging. But he had us fooled. He wasn't one of them. He was a malach that came down to share with us a glimpse of what it looks like when someone lives their life holding HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hand. How someone looks when HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hand is on their shoulder. A friend of ours told us there were pictures going around of Refoel and some videos to be Messiah the Olam, to be Ma'ir the Olam in our tefillos. And she said that she had commented to her husband when she saw the picture of someone out of town, didn't know Refoel at all, that there was an unearthly glow that she remembers seeing on her grandmother hours before her grandmother left this world. And I looked back at the picture, but it was no different than the picture we've been seeing for 9 years. That unearthly glow had nothing to do with the imminent news. There's a lashon from the Megillah Sdarim, Talmud of the Chassam Sofer. Omnam Yireh. Ki Amon, it is true. Kol Margish Yoed. Any person with feelings can testify. Ki Zed Sar La'adam B'mois. Yotzei Chalotzov B'chayav. The pain of a person to lose Yotzei Chalotzov, his offspring, B'chayav, in his lifetime. Ki Nechtaf Kol Machmodoi. His delight was grabbed away. V'zeh Chelkoi Mikol Amoloi. Is this what he has been granted from all his hard work and efforts? For Omnam, however, Yuchal Lahashkit Levavoi, he can calm his heart, he can quiet his pain with the understanding, Ki Hoylid Zera Kayama. He has indeed produced a Zera Kayama, someone who is still sustained, who is still alive. Lifnei Hashem, v'hoyozaroi chai v'kayim lifnei Hashem. His child is alive, forever alive, before Hashem. Ki asa v'tzliach kol asher hoyotzarich lahashlim nafshahi. Because he has not only fulfilled, but successfully fulfilled all that he has had to do to complete his neshama. The pasuk says, "Miyalu b'har Hashem u'miyokim l'mkaim kadshay." Who will ascend to the mountain of Hashem? Nikik apayim, someone whose hands are free of sin. Uvar levov. But the Chavetz Chaim says that's not enough. Midaf op es uftan auf der Welt. As the pasuk continues, "Ashalei nosal ashov nafshi." It's not enough just to come up free of sin, but one has to be sure that he did not live his life lashov. Who more than Refoel is going up to where he belongs? With hundreds of thousands of kapitlich tilim, thousands of inspired people by the Kiddush Hashem, the tachlis of a person in this world to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim. As Rabbi Kadosh said, it takes most of us so many years to hopefully reach it. Like Rabbi Akiva said, Mosai Ovei Liyodi B'Akaimena. When will I be able to reach that day of showing my Avos Hashem? B'chol levavcha, b'chol nafshecha. And here was a boy that was shared with us for these short years to make a Lebedik Kiddush Hashem. We need to walk through this stronger. We need to walk through this elevated. We need to walk through this with a feeling of worthiness that we were zeicha to be a small part of Refoel's life, and that we were zeicha to have Refoel as a large part of ours. Like the Megillah Sidorim says, Refoel is chai v'kayim lefnei Hashem. We know that, we believe that, without doubt. We know that if Refoel was here, and he was given one more moment to say something, he would say, smile. Go lighten up someone's heart. Go brighten up someone's day. Go learn. Go daven. Go do mitzvahs. Don't speak Lashon Hara. And we need to remember that voice in our ear and that beautiful glowing smile of a truly heilige neshama. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu give the glorious Mishpacha Bad L'chaim. Sollen sie sein alle gesund. The DNA of the entire Goldberg Bishmacha is constructed in a way that Kiddush Shem Shamayim resonates from them. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu give them the koyach, the nechamas, to carry on the torch of Kiddush Shem Shamayim, to continue to be the inspiration that they are to us, to carry the banner of Refoel with them, with all of us. There aren't too many pieces left to the puzzle in Shamayim before Mashiach comes. Now it's certainly a lot smaller. May Refoel be a Melech Yosher to the Mishpacha, to the yeshiva, to the community who has come together with such unusually tremendous achdus for Klal Yisrael, and Be'ezer Hashem very soon we'll be zeicha to Umach Hashem Lekim Dim Al Kalpanim with the coming of Mashiach.
Call up Yaakov Goldberg.
Before I start, my father asked me if I could just personally mention one name that he forgot to mention. So, b'shlichus da'aba, on behalf of the whole mishpacha, we want to thank Rav Avram Hoffman for everything that he did from the minute that Refoel was born up until the last minute. Thank you on behalf of the whole family and my parents. It says in the pasuk, "Vayar menucha ki toiv, vayed shichmoi lispol," that Yisachar saw the menucha ki toiv, vayed shichmoi lispol, and he bent his shoulder to bear, and he became an indentured laborer. The question is, it makes no sense. If he was Vayar Menucha, then why was he bent over? On the contrary, Menucha is supposed to be someone that's leaning back, somebody that's relaxed. That's Menucha. What Menucha is bent over? I saw a word from Rav Nissen Alpert. He explains that we don't understand what the real Menucha is. There are two types of Menucha. There is taka one menucha, somebody that chills, go to a beach and relax. That's menucha. But the second that's over, that menucha is gone. It has no mamashas, it's gone. this type of menucha does not satisfy the neshama. The other type of menucha is for a neshama to reach potential. You have to make a dent. In order to reach your potential, you have to make a dent. And that is the only menucha that we have in this world, is to reach our potential. Rav Twersky once said in a speech that he was walking and he saw an ad, and it says, "Get your milk from a content cow." He says, what does that mean, a content cow? He says, a cow goes to the field, he grazes, doesn't do any work, he eats, and that makes a cow content. But a person in this world cannot be content by doing nothing. Only a cow could. Refoel, we thought you were suffering, but you had a complete menucha at such a young age. You were bent over carrying a bag. That was your menucha. You got so many brachas as a little kid that you're going to live to be an old man. And they all came true. You were an old man at 9 years old. You got brachas that you're going to be zeicha to go to your chuppah. Refoel, you're going to your chuppah now. We're walking you down your chuppah to the Rebbeinu Shloim. Refoel, you united Klal Yisrael with tefillas. It makes no sense. Hundreds of thousands of Tehillim were said. The night you were nifter, Refoel, I was getting messages of all different Kabbalahs that people were making. They were coming to me, and I decided, in order to keep them, that we were going to show you one day by your Suda. We made an email address, and it was sent out for people to send different thoughts and inspirations. There was one email that came in that my mother asked me if I can read over about Levaya. And this just shows how Refoel really united Klal Yisrael, and I'm going to read it word for word. Hi, my name is Chavi. I'm 17 years old, and I live in Lakewood, New Jersey. I just thought you would like to know that I've decided to keep Shabbos and kosher from now on without exceptions. Even after all this passes, and Refoel Shmuel has a refuah shlema b'mheira, Emir Hashem. I have struggled with Yiddishkeit for about 2 years, but I'm willing to do anything for him. Although I don't know you nor him personally, I was so inspired to see how many people who don't know your family post on WhatsApp about Refoel Shmuel. I've never been so proud to be a Jew, and all for this little boy and his family who are suffering so much. It breaks my heart to hear about all this, and I literally have cried to Hashem to help him. I haven't been able to cry for a really long time due to emotional numbness, but when I watched the video of Refoel Shmuel asking everyone to daven, I burst into tears. I will continue to cry and daven for Refoel Shmuel, and Emir Hashem, there will only be good news from here on. She continued. The next morning she wrote, "Good morning. I couldn't decide whether to write this email or not because what I did was specifically for Refoel Shmuel and not for recognition. But I decided your family should know that all the Yidden around the world are always davening. I started saying Tehillim at 2 a.m. from Kapitel Aleph, and now I'm up to chapter 77. I was hoping to get until 100 tonight, but I guess I'll finish in school throughout the day. I couldn't sleep knowing there's a little boy and his family going through so much, especially getting all those texts that it's very serious right now. God willing, there will be a turn for the better today in Refoel Shmuel's health, and there will only be good news from here on. I can't promise this, but I'm going to try very hard to be more careful on tznius. Tznius in general is a very hard commandment for me, but I will try. I will continue praying, and Emir Hashem, I hope to hear good news soon." I'm going to pause and say how much tznius means to my mother, and you have no idea what a nechama you brought by just writing those words. She finished off saying, "I will, with God's help, stick to my 3 Kabbalahs, tznius, kosher, and Shabbos. for an aliyah, for a fall, all of us, may his neshama have an aliyah. I know this might sound weird or whatever, but I really felt closer to Hashem this morning. I was reciting Tehillim from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m. The minute I stopped praying, I got a text message saying, Baruch Dayan Emes. And I must tell you that I really feel closer to Hashem now. Refoel, that's what you managed to do. You united Klal Yisrael. Mommy, you were asking last night, why did Hashem take him away? Although we don't have questions, I could say, I don't know who I am to say, but I guess I'm standing up here, so I'll just say it, that I truly believe that if Hashem would have left you sick one more day, with all those tefillas, Mashiach would have come, and we're just not ready. Somebody went into Reb Chaim Kanievsky today and asked him, how could it be? And Reb Chaim said that he was a special neshama, and he was here to be Mesaken Tefillah, and he fulfilled his tafkid. And Reb Chaim said was taken, and he went straight to Gan Eden, and he's by the Kisei HaKavod. Mami and Tati, Refoel is by the Kisei HaKavod, together with both of our Zadis. Mommy and Tati, all you want is for others to be happy. At the final moments of Refoel, Olav Hashem, the doctors told my parents they could go in and say goodbye before it was over. And Mommy just went in and said, Refoel, go to the Kisei HaKavod and daven for all the people that don't have shidduchim. And all she was thinking about was her cousin to be mispal for Rachel Bas Chai Esther Pasha. She should have Refuah Shleima. That's what Mommy was thinking about as Refoel was going. Refoel, I spoke to you the day of the surgery. I was telling Mommy that I'm going to come be there with you. And Mommy was saying, don't schlep in. And Refoel, you were standing in the background saying, let him come. Let him come. And Mommy kept saying, Refoel, you're going to be out of it. You don't need Yaakov there. And he said, let me talk to him. And Refoel said, I'm going to convince Mommy to let you come. I said, Refoel, I'm 30 years old. I don't need permission to come. And Refoel said, no, you can't come without permission from Mommy. And we were fighting for 3 minutes, and he was, for real, he could not bear the fact that I would come without permission until he turned to Tati. And he said, Tati, what should we do? Yaakov said he's coming without permission. He really only cared about Mommy and Tati. And not only cared, but he really cared so much about Mommy and Tati, about listening to them. At the end of the surgery, which was almost 18 hours, the doctor came upstairs. And this is a Japanese doctor, Dr. Matsumoto. And he says, Rabbi, we got to talk. And he sits my father down, and we were shaking. And he goes like this. He says, that was a miracle. Refoel, you made the Umas Ha'olam know that there's a Rebbeinu Shleilim. He said he became a believer from this. And the doctor continued to say that on paper, Refoel looked much better than when he started the surgery. And B'zeh Haloshen, the doctor said when I opened him up, he wasn't a human being. What the doctor didn't know is that he wasn't a human being on the outside either. Refoel was a malach. Itaka wasn't a human being. I'm going to stop for 1 second since, as my father said, there were 5,000 Tinokei Shel Beis Rabban in Yerushalayim and Eretz Yisrael davening. And I know that they're listening, a lot of them are listening to Levaya and they don't understand English. אז אני אגיד בעברית, אברהם רייכמן, מעומקה דלב, אנחנו אומרים תודה מהמשפחה על מה שעשית להפוך את כל הארץ, שיהיה 5,000 ילדים מתפללים עבור ילד אחד שהם לא ידעו. אברהם רייכמן, תודה רבה. Mommy and Tati, you are the captains of an army. Look around. You're known as the family with 18 kids. And we're still a family of 18. Just one soldier was moved to a different battalion. Mommy and Tati, we're going to all be strong together with you. And you're going to continue to guide us. And the Goldberg family we're going to live on as an inspiration from Refoel and for Refoel. Refoel, on behalf of the whole family, we want to ask you mechila for all the times that we thought that you were just didn't want to get up. We didn't know how sick you were sometimes. And on that we ask you mechila. Follow, go to Hashem and ask Hashem to please give Mommy and Tati the koyach to continue and for the whole family to continue. Refoel, we love you. Umacha Hashem Elokim, dim me'alkol panim, bilam avas lanetzach.
Chaim Yosef Goldberg.
Zu Torah, zu Chayra. The Malach Master Rabbeinu Shalom. Zu Torah, zu Chayra. At face value, it seems like a fair question. Why did Hashem feel the necessity to answer like that? We say one more word, I will turn this world to Sayyid Levaya. The Vilna Gaon explained with a powerful, powerful mashal. There was once a poet that was extreme anti-Semite. He hated Jews, but he had an occasion coming up, and he needed the most beautiful suit in the country. The problem was, the best tailor in town was a Yid. So he spoke to his advisors, and they advised him to go anyways and make that suit. He went to that Yid, and the Yid said, "It'll be my honor for me to make that suit for you." The Yid, the pirates brought the most expensive material that a person could find. And the Yid made him the most stunning suit. And the pirates was beaming from ear to ear. When he went home to his wife looked at him and said, "You fool. Yes, the suit looks nice, but you brought him hundreds of meters of material. And this Jew took that material and left you with a dinky little suit. He stole that material and sold it off. You were fooled." The pirate said, "You're right. That Jew is dead." And he went back and he accused the Jew of ripping him off. And the Jew took out a knife and said, "Come here, let me show you. Give me your suit." And he started ripping open the suit. And the pirate's like, "Stop, don't ruin my suit." And the guy's like, no, let me show you." And he started showing him, over here it's folded, over here it's folded. And that's what the Rebbeinu Shem was saying. If you want, I will show you. But don't make me show you. There's a reason. You just don't have to know the reason necessarily. We don't know the reason. But we do know is that Refoel was a tool. He was a tool for Kiddush Hashem from day one. He was Mekadesh Shem Shemayim every single day that he lived. And 9 years, we're just slowly building up to the past week where we're at the climax. When he's Mekadesh Shem Shemayim before Hessia. Hundreds and hundreds of people said Hashem Hu Elokim because of Refoel. They were Makabel Hashem Bahava because of Refoel. Anybody who knows Refoel knows that his simchas and mitzvahs were unmatched. No one loved doing mitzvahs as much as Refoel. Refoel used to sit there an hour before the Shabbos Suda to make sure that he wouldn't miss 1 minute of the Shabbos Suda. He never ever left a Shabbos table for 1 minute. He sat there from beginning to end, singing Zemiros. Anybody was zeicha to see him on Simchas Torah. He didn't come for candy. He didn't come for the candy man. He came to dance. He sat there in the middle and danced with his blue knapsack, huffing and puffing, but he danced because he loved the Torah. He loved Hashem. That's all he loved. Refoel was zeicha for the past week, past couple of days, to take on my grandfather, Zadie Kaufman's name. And he shared one midah with my grandfather. Refoel was Mekabel Yisurim Ba'ahava, never complaining. To put things in perspective, let me explain to you what just happened this past Pesach. My father took the family on a trip biking at the Old Port. And he felt it was good for Refoel to get some exercise. Refoel really didn't want to. He'd rather sit on the couch and read about Rabbi Steinman, but he went along because my father told him to. When he came home, he looked a little bit down, and my mother said, Refoel, did you enjoy yourself? And he said, no, it was the worst day of my life. I'd rather 10 penicillin shots than do that again. We didn't know how much pain Refoel went through, how hard it was for him to move because he always kept quiet. When the doctor opened him up and said it doesn't make sense, it couldn't have been he was able to move around. There was nothing there. There was nothing there. It was a jelly. That's all was inside him. It didn't make sense, but we never knew because he never complained. He always sat there with a smile. He never complained. When he davened, he used to have his finger on the place. He never took it off for a second, saying every word so clearly. My father and my mother brought us up with the Muda Pshuta. My father used to always say a story that touched him greatly when he was a bacher, and immediately passes down to us this Maisa, and it keeps us going. One time he was at a Shiva in Scranton, and there's people sitting there, Avelim, complaining about Hashem and saying, how can it be? Why us? How can there be Hashem in the world? And there was a Yid, a Yid from before the war, who was there to be Menachem Avel, and he was vividly upset. And he stormed out and walked right outside. Someone followed him and asked him, why did you do that? Why did you leave? They need you so badly.
Put the knife down, dude!
And he said,
An Austin police officer.
I had 13 kids before the war and a wife. I lost every single one of them. I came to America and I got remarried. And 1 month later, my wife was walking in the street and a car hit her and she died on the spot. But to question the Rebbeinu Shalom, I can't hear such a thing. I can't sit next to someone who's questioning Rebbeinu Shalom. Rebbeinu Shalom, we're not going to ask. We're going to be Makabel. We're going to accept. Not only are we going to accept, we're going to grow and steig from this. Hashem, please Give my parents the kaiches to continue. Give all of us the kaiches to continue. The fall be real searching for all of us up here. Mach Hashem, the give
Rabbi Ross, brother-in-law for Moshe Goldberg. Everyone please rise for Keil Malei Rachamim.
El Malei Rachamim, Sholcheim Bamromim, Hamsein Menucha Nechona, Al Kanfei HaShechina, B'malos Kedoshim Utorim Kizohar Kiyamasirim, Es Tishmas Hayelet Refoel Ben Moshe, Sheholach L'olamo, Bavor She'aviv Imo, V'chol Echo V'chol Ech Yosef, ואימו וכל משפחתו וכל קרובו וכל אוהבו וכל בני הקהילה הקדושה הזאת נותנים צדקה בלי נדר בעד הזכרת שמו בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו לכן בעל הרחמים ישרהו בסייס כנפיו לעולמים ויצרור בצרור חיים נשמתו, אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן.
The urn will go to Saint Sophie following exit 35.
You recorded it?